Have you ever seen the movie Inside Out? I remember the first time I saw that movie, partway through, my mouth dropped open and I said, this movie can be summarized by Jesus' second beatitude. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Now, if you haven't seen Inside Out, I don't want to give away the movie, but I will tell you this, that one of the key elements of the story is the fight between joy and sadness. And joy wants to keep sadness away from everything. And in the end, comes to the very startling realization that often the greatest joys come about as a consequence of some of the deepest sorrows. Jesus understood this. Blessed are those who mourn, he said, for they shall be comforted. Nobody wants to be sad. Nobody wants to go through the storms of life. Nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to weep. About 16 years ago, a young man in my church youth group that I was leading was in an ATV accident and passed away. And I remember grown-ups in the church telling the teenagers, don't cry. He wouldn't want you to be sad. And I would come to those teenagers and I would say, no, you cry if you need to cry. You should cry. And your tears honor your beloved friend who has gone on before you. Jesus himself stood before the grave of his dear friend Lazarus and wept. And if Jesus, knowing as he knew that he himself was the resurrection and the life, and he who believes in him, though he die, shall live, if Jesus himself could stand at the grave of his friend and weep, then how much more can we? The Bible doesn't say, don't grieve. It says, don't grieve like those who have no hope. Understand that in grief there is hope, that in sorrow there is something greater to come. Don't grieve like those who have no hope. Grieve as somebody who does have hope. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And I'd like to finish by saying, Jesus doesn't actually specify who will bring that comfort. Perhaps it will be God himself. But how wonderful it would be for me if during the time of someone else's grief, I could be the one to fulfill the promise of God by bringing comfort to them. And how wonderful it would be if you could do the same.